Yeah. All right. Hey, we're here with Ryan Kelly, Seafair, and it was Unsparing Sea, right?
Yeah.
And then what other projects am I missing out here? Ones-
In Cleveland?
yeah.
Jeez. It's in a punk band called Novalos before Unsparing Sea with guys from the Worship This and the Narcoleptics. And then before that, I was in a band in Akron called Me Also. It was a hip hop rock band that was terrible. And I hated every minute of that. And then for the brief time I was in it. What else was I in? And Martha Dump Truck in high school.
Nice.
Yeah, our punk ska band.
Well, I seem to recall you talking years ago about being on the Warped Tour. Was that like a one-off date, or did you go on?
We did a couple. We also did back in 2000. That's is the one reason why I played in that band for the time. Stayed in it, actually, I should say, because it got us into those shows, and those shows were, man, the Warped Tours back then were so amazing. Like the year that we were with it, it was Eminem had just hit it big, and or it was just about to actually, and I remember partying with him and Ice-T and the Black Eyed Peas and all these bands that were so small back then, Alkaline Trio and AFI and man, it was like Jurassic 5, like so many bands that were so good, and we did that. Yeah.
Cool. I guess the reason I'm interviewing you is I've just watched. Unsparing Sea kind of had a short lifespan, right? But you guys got recognized pretty quickly.
That band I wasn't a part of at first.
Oh,
Jamie
okay.
Bennett had started that, and I was their third drummer, I think. I came back from Colorado and connected with Jamie right when I moved back, and they needed a drummer. And then I started playing with them, and we wrote Diamond Caverns together. But yeah. Then it was together that was like about a year or so and a half, and then they disbanded.
Okay. I seem to remember it seemed like it was kind of blowing up, right? Like there was
we thought so.
Band of the year, and then was it just a member moving
Yeah,
abruptly?
Jamie was the brainchild. It was his thing,
Okay.
and we made that record, and God, it was so well done, and we're really really proud of it. And Jamie, and I think I don't want to speak for him, but I just think he lost the desire to do it, and he didn't want to play music anymore, whatever the case may be, and he went back to Tennessee. We were just supposed to meet up with him last weekend, actually.
nice.
Yeah, we went up because we crossed through there, but we couldn't link up. He was late out of getting out of work, and we had to keep going, and it was a bummer, but we're still talking.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. But then then you joined Seafair,
Uh-huh.
right? And I guess I just wanted to pick your brain because I think you of all the members you've kind of fallen into the manager role. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I don't know. Maybe if you could describe kind of the things you're doing that you think have helped raise Seafair's status as quickly as you have, because it's still a relatively young band, right?
Yeah, 2 years with the current lineup, a little under 2 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 years total as a band, a little under.
Okay.
I don't know. It wasn't my thing. I was playing, Unsparing Sea had broken up, and I was playing punk rock with what has now become their Worship This, and they were practicing in Akron, and the drive was rough, and so I found Shayla and Josh, and they started doing the Seafair thing, and they sent me a couple songs, which turned out to be on our first EP. Excuse me. And after sitting down with them, I was like, yeah, this girl's got talent. Like there was no denying it. The way she sang, I was like, all right, I'm paying attention. Like I can work with this for sure. And yeah, so and they never had really, and they played shows not for Seafair but in other bands, I think, and they had done like Peabody's Battle of the Bands kind of stuff, and they had never gotten out to booking Grog Shop or Beachland or anything that beyond those little tiny shows. And I had that background. I had done that before. I booked tours, and I had done that, just learning throughout the years. And so when I linked up with them and started to hear our sound, I grabbed Tara from Unsparing Sea, and I was like, hey, I think that adding you to this mix would be a great idea. And then it kind of got to that sound, and we were, all right, let's get out. And then I just kind of used a little bit of the Unsparing Sea momentum that was still going to say, hey, this is a new band featuring two of the people from that band, and we're trying to get some shows. And Cindy actually booked our first show at the ballroom, and then she called. I don't know if it was her or it was Ryan Yankee. I think it was Brian, but he's like, hey, we got another local band. And I had just moved back. Like, I didn't really know. I wasn't fully into the scene as much as I am now. So, they're throwing bands at us, and we're like, okay, yeah. And then they're like, yeah, this other band that's pretty big around here called Megachurch. They were curious if they can split the show with you guys. It's their album release party. And I was like, absolutely. And I listened to them, and I was like, please, let's do it. Like, it's going to be a weird show. But let's do it. And so, yeah, our first show was at the Tavern. It was us and Megachurch, and I want to say that who opened the show? Casual Encounters.
Okay.
Matt Rollins, and it was the three bands. It was an awesome show. It sold out, like, it was insane, and you could tell it was funny because our fans, it was like it was split down the middle. Like, we had our fans there, and for us it was our first show, so everybody we knew, it was like, hey, there's our first show, so everybody came out to it. And then for them it was, hey, it's our album release show, so everybody came out for that. So that's probably why it did so well. And we played before Megachurch, obviously, and you could tell our fans kind of went to the back and their friends came to the front, and it kind of, like, the whole room shifted. It was pretty funny to watch. But yeah, it was great, and the success of that show basically, allowed us to continue to get our name out there. And
I mean, do you think, obviously coming out of the gate like that is strong, but
yeah.
you got, I mean, and everyone has, or every band gets that first show, like, momentum usually,
Mm-hmm.
but that's something that dies down pretty quick after, 3 or 4 shows.
Sure.
And I've certainly been to shows of yours that they always seem to be well attended, so you guys have somehow kept up a really good momentum.
We're
I'm just wondering what you attribute that to.
Shayla's talent, she has an aura about her. I don't know. Like I said, man, it was when I first heard her sing, I was like, we're gonna play with this girl. I'm gonna see. She's got a lot of talent, and there is no hiding it. And it was like, somebody has to get this out there. And, I was the only one with experience, and that was me. So it was like, it's my duty to get her in front of as much people as I possibly can. And it's still, to this day, is the same way. It's, every show that we play, it's like, hey, have you heard this girl sing? And, we're a good band. Like, I know that our band is, between the 2 classically trained artists and then the 3 guys, we're a solid band, but the focal point is her voice and the way she sings. So it's still, to this day, like I said, is still getting her in front of people to say, hey, listen to this girl sing. It's amazing. The momentum, though, it's all just it is, you know, we worked our social media hard. We still do. Promoting, and talking about it, getting, you know, asking for write-ups as much as we possibly can, even if we don't get them. It's like, hey, you know, you haven't written about us. Can you listen to this and see what, any kind of press that you, or anything you can say about us will help. And then somebody writes, and then you throw that up, and somebody tells their friend about us, and it just kind of builds. And Bright Winter helped us a lot too. The first Bright Winter we played, I think was the first time a lot of people had heard about us, finally got to see us. Because the first Bright Winter show that we did was at the Najee, at the Najee studio, and it was so far off the path, like you had to go there to see. You had to go there to see somebody, and we played earlier in the night, and the room as we were playing just kept getting more and more packed, and it was crazy. And after that, it just kind of, there was something different about our band that we all felt. It was like, wow, people like this stuff that we're doing, and as long as we keep this going, I think that people will listen to it.
Cool.
But one thing that we try not to do is oversaturate, which a couple of years ago we played a lot, and it felt like it got that point. It felt like we got to the point where, all right, we're going to play, no one's going to come see us, because they know they can see us in another month.
Mm-hmm.
They know they can see us, I don't need to go see Seafair this time, because they're going to play again.
Yeah.
So last year we decided to take, to make our shows more of a spectacle, like more production in our shows, our local shows, props, and we pick, we ask bands to play with us that we feel maybe some people haven't seen,
Mm-hmm.
or there are friends of ours that have been asking to play shows with us. We're pretty selective on the bands we've chosen to play with too, which and helps all the bands have an audience. But yeah, I think that's a huge thing, especially with local stuff, is not to wear. You want to play as much as possible. You always do. Like, I want to play. If I could play every day, I would play every day. But no one's gonna come see me play every day, because no one's gonna care. But if you play once 3-4 months, then it's like, oh, this is Seafair. They're putting together this show that we're going to get when they play, and we know we're going to get something different than we saw already before, which is what we try to do. I mean, we had confetti cannons at the last show. Like, we just make it a fun, different show. In this show, we're gonna have this album release party that we're gonna throw in April or in May. We got a big stage thing that we're planning, and it's gonna be pretty fun. But I think that's a big key to keeping is momentum, is to make your shows more what's the word I'm looking for? Like, oh man, make them more like a need to see, like a spectacle. Like, you need to see them, because they may take off. We may play this next show in May and not have a show until August, and it might be somewhere much bigger that's going to be more money to see us. Or, we might play in September, and then we might not play Cleveland again until next year. We don't know. We have confidence in ourselves that we can, take this far, and we certainly hope so. But I think all 6 of us have it in mind that this is what we want to do. We want this band to be our lives,
Mm-hmm.
and the support system we have is tremendous, and which is a huge part of it. It has to be. But I think as far as confidence and building a product that people want to see, and not oversaturating the market are the three major things to keeping your momentum going throughout the couple of years.
Side question: Do you have is it all social media that you do, or do you have like an email list? Kind of like?
Yeah, all social media.
Okay.
We just got an email list, which I haven't even implicated yet. Like, you can sign up for it on our website, but I haven't sent anything out on it yet. Like, we just put together our website like recently, and I've been posting like blog things from the websites, but it's stuff you can see on social media.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and we don't even have. It's people's, people care, they share. That's all there is to it. We don't have 6,000 random followers on our Facebook page and 20,000 random followers on Twitter. We have like almost 2,000 followers on Facebook. That's it. Facebook has changed 1,000% now. You have to pay to get people to see your stuff, and it's just hoping, I guess, at this point. It's like, hey, here's our stuff. You like it? Can you share it? Like, please. I promise we're not like every band. I swear.
Now, so if you establish a market like
Sorry,
a
I
home
still
base,
have to kind of work
Oh, okay.
a little bit. No, you're good. Go ahead.
but so you establish a place like Cleveland, and now I see you're branching out into touring, or is are these contacts that you've had in the past, or these new contacts you're reaching out to?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Like I said, it's tough because the stuff that I've booked personally over the years is all punk. It's all punk rock stuff. It's, places like Class and around the country, Burns and stuff like that. They're places that are in that vein. They're not places in the vein of the Beach or the Grog Shop.
Yeah.
So I can't really use those because I tried. It's like, hey, here's my band, Seafair from Cleveland. I used to be in punk rock bands, but this isn't really a punk rock band. But we still need a place to play in your city. Can we play your venue? Nope. You are not the style of band that we look for. And I've gotten that email a ton of times. And it's frustrating because it's like, shit, this is who I know, and I can't use them. So at that point, it's just, a lot of research and asking and talking. And I send out thousands of emails about trying to find shows and trade shows and submitting to different festivals and stuff like that, talking to different people about booking shows and promoting and stuff. And the game is insane now, and it's way different than it was when I was able to book cross-country tours at places like that, because unless you're playing in a punk rock band and you're like, yeah, I'll play the Basement, sure. You can't do it with a 6-piece band that has, classical and 3 DIs and stuff like that. Like, you just can't do it. But yeah, it's just a lot of, I sit here for 4 to 5 hours a day and just research, look at who's who's helping who, how, why are they helping them, who can I talk to talk to the next person, who would want to listen to our band that thinks that they can give us a chance. That's what I spend most of the time trying to figure out.
And
because that one person is out there.
Yeah.
And I just have to find them. Because that one person's going to hear her sing and say, oh shit, this is something that can appeal to the mass, a mass amount of people. And when I find that one person, then I feel like that would be it. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows anymore? I try to do what I think is the right thing. With everything that we do. I'm grateful for the things that we have gotten so far, the support that we've gotten. I'm grateful for the help that we've gotten in other cities. We're trading shows with the band from New York right now. They've given us 2 shows in New York City now, and they're gonna come back and play record release party. And who knows if anything will ever come of those shows, but it's, that's what I think is the right thing to do, is to trade in shows. And you help us, we'll help you. And if something happens to us because of it, then we're grateful. But yeah.
But in the meantime, whether you find that contact or not, you're still working on building your brand.
Yes.
So, I mean, of course, as a long way as it is, I suppose, can you see, you see a benefit to the self-management then, right? Or
yeah, because I can control it. It's funny because I've never said this out loud, but I think it often. But our band has become a family. Like, a lot of bands say that, and you hear it, oh, our band's a family. But ours is really a fucking family. Like, and I'm the dad of the family. There's no doubt, because I make these decisions for us. And, I don't know what other roles. It's a dad role, but we're like brothers and sisters now. Like, we take care of each other. We're very involved in each other's personal lives. Like, we make sure we want the right things for each other and in our personal lives. But we want to. It's hard to say. Like, if I don't know where I was going with that. With me being, not to say that we haven't sought out or looked for someone to manage us, because we do. I don't want to do this. I have to do it now because I want to protect us from getting going down a shitty road or something like that. I'm not the first person that comes to us and is like, hey, I'm a guy and I'm going to do this. I'm not going to be like, yeah, here you go, dude, sign away, because it's not necessary. We've toyed with a couple managers, and we've toyed with a couple labels and stuff, and they just haven't worked out for whatever reason. Doesn't mean that we're not going to work with those people again. It doesn't mean that we have ill will. It's not the right fit. So, bottom line is the personal management right now is just due to not the right fit. Are you dying?
no. I just always check.
But yeah, it is. It's plus there's 6 of us with 6 very, very different schedules, and getting all 6 people on the same page is a fucking task, man. It is. And right now, I've got it almost down to a science, to where I know where everybody's working, when they're working. I know when to contact them and how to contact them, and we have a pretty good open communication between all members of the band, so that things flow pretty smoothly, to where I can just drop it into one person and it'll get back to me. Where we have to find the right person that can handle that, and it'll come eventually, I think. But for now, it's my I've taken on the responsibility, and I have no problem doing it. I enjoy it. I just I count the days down to where it's just, okay, go play your drums now.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta do. That's all I gotta do. You guys already wrote all our plans out for us? Cool. Thank you. I'll even set them up. I don't even care. Nah, but yeah, that's kind of why. It's still me.
Cool. I think throughout the conversation you hit on a lot of things, but is there anything else in particular you think bands could stand to either do or not do that would help them more?
It really depends on what you're trying to get out of being in a band. If you're cool with just playing music to play it, and you don't want to have it as your living, then you have a different mind state than I have. You have a different mind state than the rest of my band. This is what I've always dreamed of doing in my life. I've dreamt of playing music in front of giant amounts of people. People, I should just say. I don't care about giants, but I've dreamed of traveling the world playing music. Has been my dream since I was a kid, and it still continues to be my dream. And until I feel that it's never going, until I feel like I've done everything I possibly can to make that dream happen, it's still going to be a dream of mine, and I'm still going to chase it. And I'm lucky enough to have a wife that supports that dream, and I'm lucky to have a band that shares that dream. I think some of them do. But that's our goal. And that our goal is our goal. We aren't basing it on what other bands have done, and we don't think that anybody should do what we're doing in the way we're doing it. Everybody needs to have their own goal for what they're trying to do. And I think that becomes a thing with bands, is that they try to do something somebody else's way, or they try to, oh, well, they made it, we can make it, kind of thing. And it's yes, that's a mind state to have, because you want to do well, but sometimes you want to do that, but you don't want to work hard to do it. Which we work very, very hard. I work very, very hard, but we all, all six of us work hard in our different areas of this band, but it's more of finding what kind of band you want to be in. There is the half of me that's like, all right, just let's find a band and play every weekend around Cleveland and just make a name for ourselves that way, and it'll be fun, and you don't really care about anything, you just show up, you get wasted, and play a bunch of music and have a blast, and wake up tomorrow and just go on with your lives. And there's a part of me that wants to do that, and but I have that drive that just won't let me stop it there. I just have to keep going. So I don't know if that answered your question or not, but sometimes I just ramble.
Hey.
Blah, 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 blah.
I think you're one of the few musicians that rambles.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. That's why I play drums. I don't have to talk.
I suppose you don't have to deal with this so much, but do you, because you have 5 other members that are, do you all write collectively? Is that so? You've got 5, but have you found your ability to write is hindered by all the management work you're doing?
Sometimes.
Or do you feel detached from the creative process at times? Yeah.
Sometimes. Sometimes. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't focus on it now. I've let the band, we're starting to write new music right now, but we have all this stuff going on behind the scenes for this current record that's about to come out.
Yeah.
So all of the writing is happening in Shayla's house, at Mike's house, Josh's house. The girls kind of just add on their parts at the end because they can do, that's how good they are. They can just be like, oh, this is the song, great. This is the song now. It's like, yeah, it is. Okay, great. So the writing's happening in those songs, and we're getting together, and we're starting to try to pull these songs together. I do have a pretty big creative say on how the song goes because I'm a drummer, so I kind of have to. But my mind isn't focused on that right now. My mind is on getting people to listen to this record. And until that day has passed, when that record comes out, and that show has happened, and we know whether or not we're going to play fucking Bonnaroo, and we know whether or not we're going to play Midpoint, and all that other crap that we've, tried to bust our ass to get to, I'll be able to focus on the music. And I can't wait for that day, man. I swear to God, they have such great ideas coming out, and my brain's just like, oh yeah, it's this, and I'm like, no, it's not. What am I doing? Start over. And then it's all that for 2.5 hours, and then it's like, I'm sorry, we've got nothing accomplished. I apologize. It's my fault. But But yeah, it definitely does, and it's happening right now for sure. You have to. It is a downfall, I guess, to say that there's that nobody is there doing it for us. So I have to, and it may make it suffer a little bit right now, but it stretches our timeline out, if anything. Because now, instead of writing the music, while those things are happening in the background, I'm focused on those things in the background, and the music is kind of put on pause, or in slow motion, I should say, to where it could be, the next record could be written by the time this one comes out, and it was like, all right, let's jump back in the studio, which is what I would like to happen. But I mean, we're still a young band, so there's still a lot of ideas and we have no direction. There's no direction in our sound whatsoever. There's epic songs, there's dancey songs, there's ballads, there's all sorts of different types of music coming out of our band that there's no direction, and I like it that way, but if we slow things down, that'll suffer, I think. That'll make us, all right, well, now these are the songs that did well on the record. Let's start to write like that. It shouldn't be like that, I don't think. So yes, to answer your question.
Well, cool. I think that covers everything I got, unless there's any other thing
No.
thing I missed. Any other blatant thing I missed.
I don't think so. I just, I want this. Let me tell you, and I'm glad that you're recording this, because if people are going to hear this, I want them to hear this. I came from the Denver scene. I was in the Denver scene for a couple of years. Not many, but enough to be well smack in the middle of it. Denver has a giant music festival that happens every year in their city, where thousands upon thousands of people come out. It's like a mini South by, but it happens on one street, and it's insane. It's awesome. I took Seafair there last year so that they could see what it's like. But the band I was in was a punk, dancey kind of band. And we didn't really fit in with anybody in particular. We kind of just we could play shows with metal bands, we could play shows with punk bands, we could play shows with just rock bands, emo bands. We fit in everywhere, but it didn't really matter. In Denver, everybody supported everyone else's band. It was just like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? How's your shows going? Good. Want to do a show sometime? Let's do it. Great. Hey, this band is blowing up. Let's talk about this band. Hey, we've got a show here, but this band is about to play Red Rocks. Like, have you guys heard this band? Please check them out. Our friends. You're promoting the scene. You're promoting the bands around you in the scene. And it feels like a tight-knit scene in Denver. When I came back here, I've never gotten that feeling back. And it really bums me out. You have tight-knit pockets of our scene. You have the Beachland scene, all right? You have the grog scene, and they kind of mix together sometimes. And then you have, out there, you have like the weird, like the weird metal scene that everybody hates, and guerrilla music, and everybody hates the metal scene, and nobody's going to play Peabody's, or nobody's going to play the Fantasy, and Rock Bar, and stuff like that. And then those bands don't get to play with the big shows, like Ingenuity, and they don't get to play Bright Winter, and stuff like that. And it's like, these bands can play that kind of stuff, but those bands can't. And there's a divide. But even in those bands, there's still a divide, because it's like nobody wants another band to succeed. It's almost like, I don't want to throw any names out there, but it's like, all right, I'm in this band, all right? This band has been working a lot harder and has a lot more going for them than my band right now. But I'm not going to show them any love, because they're not me. If I can't succeed, then nobody can. And people don't understand that if I succeed, we all succeed. Because then people are going to be like, oh, that band's from this city. let's take a look at that city and see what else is going on in that city. If this band came out of that, then that sound, there's got to be something coming out of that sound. It's happened in cities before, you know, Seattle and New York and all, you know, all those cities. Seattle's, it's you know, it's whatever, but you know, there are bands here that support each other and are trying to build that up, like Seafair, like These Knees, like bands like that where they're like, hey, this is our city, let's support each other, Ottawa. Like bands like that who are, you know, it's not just about them, it's about the scene. And I wish more people were like that, and they were like, yeah, like, let's make this, you know, we want everybody to be individually successful, each band to be successful and to do great things. But you also have to know that in order for me to be successful, I need to project this that everything else is successful. You know, there's bands right now, I mean, there's Seafair right now, you know, there's bands that we still want to play with that we haven't played with from Cleveland. And there are some bands that we asked to play with and they're like, you know, we get that kind of reaction like, oh, we're not playing with you guys. We don't, you know, we're not stooping down to that level. It's like, who the fuck are you? Like, you're still a local band. Like, you know, it's not like you're selling out arenas. Like, help us out. You know, you help us out, we'll help you out. It's, you know, we're not going to, I don't know. And that feeling, I want that feeling that I had in Denver with those musicians and that city, basically, of musicians. I want that feeling here. And I wish, I took, like I said, I took Seafair out to Denver so that they could feel it, and they did. And they all were like amazed that this is how things work out here, but it's completely different in our city. So I wish that, you know, the Eagles in Cleveland, man, it's just, I wish they weren't there. It's just such a bummer because there are so many good bands here, man. There are so many great bands and musicians that it's a mind-boggling that something hasn't happened to the city where one person has caught fire and the rest haven't either. I mean, bands, Lighthouse and Welshly and Modern Electric and you know, those style bands, and then, you know, Above This Fire, metal bands like that, and Nothing and Nowhere, and, you know, bands like that, and Megachurch and Herzog, and, you know, all those bands should all be working together to build just one big thing. And I think that, you know, in time, that if it happened, then maybe it'll happen. But for now, it bums me out.
So we just need a bigger support system here in Cleveland overall.
Probably, I'd imagine. Yeah, getting people out there and just the support system. You need bands to help. Like right now, and I don't want to say like, hey, this is my band, I want my band to succeed, because I want my band to succeed. I do. I'm not going to bullshit you.
Yeah.
You know, but if your band, if Joshua Jesty and whatever the rest of your name in the band is called right now, this week, and the Skeletor aliens, you know, Super Skeletors, and okay, whatever your band was called, if Joshua Jesty right now was in the bracket that we were in for the Bonnaroo thing, mm-hmm. there would be absolutely no reason for me to say on the Seafair page, hey everybody, this band, Joshua Jesty, this is our friend from Cleveland, we got to get behind him. We want them, please vote for them to play Bonnaroo. That's it. Click here, vote for them, support our scene. Boom. That should be something that people are doing. Mm-hmm. And it so happens to be us right now, but next year it could be somebody else. And we would be the first ones to be like, holy shit, this band is going to play Bonnaroo. Hey everybody, vote for this band to play Bonnaroo next year. But we're not getting, I mean, we get that support. Some, like, I think like one or two bands have done it for us, but like not everybody. And I don't expect everybody to do it, but some of the bands we've played with, you know, that we thought we were cool with, you know, their reach. We got 5,000 people we can tell this to, and we're a scene. This is Cleveland. you're the Cleveland band. Here you go. Here, hey, our friends, give Seafair a vote because they're from our city. And it's just stuff like that doesn't really happen. It's kind of a bummer, but yeah. I think that's it.
Cool, man. Well, sweet. Thank you.
I don't know. Is that total bullshit?
No, I don't think it's total bullshit.
Do you agree with me?
I do. But I'm not being interviewed, so I don't say anything.
For the record, my fingers are crossed during all of that. I didn't mean any of that shit. I didn't mean any of that. So this was for like Cindy and.
Yep.